The first time I heard someone say, do as little as you can, I was in a somatics class and I was lying down and I sat up and I looked at the teacher and I said, can you say that again? And, you know, I had this realization that I had been told my whole life pretty much, like, do as much as you can all the time. And what I realize is that that just doesn't work for my system. It just simply doesn't work for my system. And so there was like this internal conflict happening that I was not aware of for a very long time. There was one side that was telling me, like, you're going to be a burden to those around you if you don't do as much as you can. You are being lazy if you don't do as much as you can. You are a leech. That was one of the words in my family. You are a leech, like a bloodsucker, if you are not doing as much as you can all the time, if you're not being productive all the time. And I hit a wall many, many, many years ago, about 20 years ago. I hit a wall and I realized that my system was not capable of staying, that was not sustainable for my body, mind, spirit, soul, to live in that. And so I went into a really deep hole, and for a long time I went in the opposite direction. Like, all I did was yin yoga, all I did was like sleep a lot, all I did was like listen to my body that it needed a lot of rest. And now 20 years later, I find that it's much easier for me to find harmony and flow in all of it. And so recently I went and hiked one of the most intense mountains in the Northeast, and it was ecstatic. I was just like overwhelmed with like this ecstatic, like enthusiastic, amazing energy. And it was such an awesome day. And like the build up to it, like I was training in my body, the build up to it was like really intense and I loved it. And now the couple of days since then, like I'm allowing my body to go more into like an ebb and flow kind of a state. And I think letting go of the stories about like I'm going to be a burden on other people, or I'm not like being productive if I am resting deeply or doing as little as I can. And what I realize is that's a huge fallacy. One, I noticed that actually people want to be around me more when I give myself these moments, sometimes hours, sometimes a whole day, sometimes a couple of days, to just literally do as little as I can. People want to be around me more because they can sense that energy of a deep rest that a lot of people in our culture are just not finding, not giving themselves permission to experience. And I don't even mean that you need to take like, you know, a whole week or do as little as you can all the time. It's an invitation to take an hour once a week. Maybe you'll build up to, at some point you'll find an entire day at some point to do as little as you can. This morning I just lounged in bed and just like let myself roll over and feel myself breathe and stretch this a little bit, and oh, that feels juicy, let me just follow that. I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to say about that. Yes. Doing as little as you can also gives a rebound effect. So what I've noticed is, and I don't do this with the objective of creating the rebound effects, but what I have noticed in my own system is when I give myself permission and when I do as little as I can, again, whether it's an hour or a day, there's this like beautiful rebound effect that afterwards my system and my body feels more willing and able to like be more focused and be more productive and like go to a point where I can do a lot more. Whereas if I'm constantly stringing out of like, do as much as I can, do as much as I can, do as much as I can, I get so depleted that none of what I'm doing is actually to my capacity, because it reaches a point where it's so unsustainable that I can't be in the capacity of doing as much as I can. And so when I do as little as I can, there's this beautiful like deep rest that comes with that. And then from that rest, there's like this capacity to engage more and to be more present and to be more focused with the things that are actually really important to me. And from a somatic perspective, when you ask your flesh, your muscles, your cells to do as little as they can, there's a spaciousness that unfolds that allows new patterns to be possible. So there are all these patterns that are underlying, like in the potency, that are not yet in existence in your flesh, like in the way that your particles move in your field. And when you slow down and do as little as you can, or don't push yourself all the way to your edge, and again, I'm not saying don't do that, it's great to push yourself to your edge. When you slow down and let yourself do a lot less than you are capable of, these patterns that are just in the potency, that are just in like the possibility, the realm of possibilities right now, have the capacity to then start to engage with and come into the actual field of your particles, so that your flesh can start to embody different patterns. And when your flesh embodies different patterns, your mind embodies different patterns, and your engagement with spirit is shifted as well. So try it on. What would it feel like to do as little as you can?